I'm Amy Cherry. Your local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya. A Flagler County judge has once again postponed a final set of hearings in workers' comp claims lodged by dozens of sheriff's office employees who say their now vacated building made them sick. The sheriff's insurer has denied all claims despite testing finding evidence of mold and water intrusion in the operations center. An attorney for the employees is urging the sheriff and its insurance carrier to acknowledge that their denial of claims was premature. They're also asking that medical care be provided to employees as the investigation continues. They're asking that $50,000 be set aside for those medical expenses. The employee's attorney plans to file a lawsuit against the sheriff and county government after a compromise effort to avoid civil litigation failed. There's still no solid decision on what to do next, and for now, sheriff's office employees work in a decentralized manner in the courts building. Judge Wilbur Anderson says this delay in workers' comp hearings will be the last, with a new round scheduled no later than the end of July.
This portion of Flagler's Morning News brought to you by the Daytona Beach International Airport, Delta Airlines nonstop to Atlanta, and starting in May, nonstop flights to New York City via American Airlines. State Senator Travis Hudson said he agrees with Representative Paul Renner that now is not the time to panic over funding for tourism.
Hudson also said that he agrees with Renner on the funding bill.
We're full steam ahead on keeping Visit Florida alive. I funded it to the tune of $50 million in my budget. I think the House did $18 million. It's something that is important to a lot of people all over the state.
Hudson said that he and Renner also agree that there is a point where too much money is being put into Visit Florida.
I think where Representative Renner and I can agree, at what point do you hit that saturation where you're overfunding and overspending?
Hudson said he agrees that the funding decision will come near the end of the legislative session and that it will come likely from the governor or those who preside over the House and Senate. Tomorrow, what saith the director of Flagler County Tourism about House Bill 6031? From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
The Flagler County Sheriff's Office receives more than $293,000 in grant money. They received a total of 4 grants that will be used in multiple areas of the agency. Brittany Kershaw in Public Affairs with the Sheriff's Office tells us one grant that's being renewed will enable the department to continue work that's already underway.
One of the grants is from the Florida Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and that grant totals $204,158, and that money will be used to fund a dedicated domestic violence detective and a domestic violence crime analyst.
The office also received grant money from the Attorney General's Office for the Victims of Crime Act to the tune of $83,000. That'll cover full-time victim advocates' salaries.
Our victims advocates respond to any kind of crime where the victim is in need of any kind of information or things like that. So they are very involved in a lot of our cases. They're very, very vital to our operation here.
Volusia 100 gave FCSO $4,000 to purchase ballistic helmets for the SWAT team, and the office also received $2,000 to buy saddle blankets for the volunteer mounted posse that patrols parking lots and takes part in community events. We may never know exactly what caused a plane crash more than 2 years ago, Peter Killeen reports.
The amazing part of Joel Fallon and Josh Rosa's story is that either, let alone both, survived that plane accident on November 9th, 2016. The pair were taking a quick hop from Flagler County Airport to DeLand, about a 15-minute flight. With Fallon at the helm on a clear day, about 3 minutes in, the plane suddenly rolled to the right and wouldn't correct itself through manual controls. At that point, Rosa, owner of Flagler Air Exchange, grabbed the controls and took the possible life and death action of turning off the engine so that if there was an impact, the plane wouldn't burst into flames. Despite the men's best efforts, the plane crashed into some palm trees, both men suffering extensive injuries, but each survived. Last week, the NTSB released its final report, which said the crash was attributed to a loss of aircraft control for reasons that could not be determined because post-accident examination did not reveal any evidence of pre-impact mechanical malfunctions or failures of the flight controls that would have precluded normal operation. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Peter Killeen.
The first piece in Palm Coast's new sculpture garden is being unveiled today. Tony Magoo takes a look.
It's been a dream for quite some time of the City of Palm Coast and the Gargiulo Art Foundation to have a sculpture garden around the lake at Central Park. The first piece of that puzzle is now in place with the installation of a nearly 10-foot-tall cast bronze sculpture entitled Burro with Bird on Shoulder. The Palm Coast City Council, the Gargiulo Art Foundation, and the city's Beautification and Environmental Advisory Committee and Arts Commission will dedicate the tall burro next to the lake in a public ceremony at 9 a.m. today at Central Park. The Gargiulo Art Foundation donated the artwork by sculptor Copper Trischler of New Smyrna Beach and is donating 4 other sculptures to be placed around the lake this summer. People visit other communities because of their art, and I think that's going to happen here in Palm Coast, Gargiulo said. The sculpture garden is going to be a draw. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Tony Magoo.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.